Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Wealth and Wellness Network, the show that empowers women to reach their greatest income potential using wellness practices that promote prosperity. I'm your host, Letitia Johnson, also known as La. How are you, everyone? And I want to shout out my lovely co-host, Lalania, and she goes by Lala. How are you feeling this morning, Lala?
I'm feeling good. I'm thinking your energy is just infectious. I'm like, where's my cup of coffee? Hold up. I missed the memo.
Oh my goodness. Oh, I'm feeling fabulous today. In fact, this month is going to be phenomenal. Not just because, it kind of has something to do with that. I'm super excited. I must put out there, first and foremost, it's my birthday month, March. It's my birthday. It's my birthday. So I'm super excited. I love celebrating life because it's life is what you make it. So I get super excited around this time of year. But more importantly, I'm really ecstatic about the topics that we're going to tackle this month. They are really going to set you up for success. And I know you might hear that often, but trust me, you will be blown away. But you'll also be able to utilize the things that we're talking about and make it really applicable to your life. So before we get started, Lala and I also have a special treat for you. So let's get to it. So how would you like to hang out with me and Lala for the day? Sounds fun. So you can do so you can actually do so, and this is how. So by becoming a guest on the show, we want to know how Wealth and Wellness Network has helped you. Those selected will be featured on our show this month. So learn more about how you can get involved and be featured on the show at wealthandwellnessnetwork.com. Super exciting.
Well, it's funny because talking about pulling fabulous people to you, and I feel like we are doing that every day. I'd like to, if I could jump into it, I'd like to talk about the law of attraction principle. What do you think about that law?
One of my favorite laws, that principle. Go ahead. Tell them about it.
And what does the law of attraction mean, right? One definition goes like this. The law of attraction can be understood by understanding that like attracts like. This means that whether we realize it or not, we are responsible for bringing both positive and negative into our lives. That's pretty powerful, right? Think about it this way, and I love this because it really breaks it down into something that most of us can relate to. All stress begins with one negative thought. That one thought that goes unchecked creates more thoughts until stress is manifest. The effect is stress, but the cause was the negative thinking. And that all began with one negative thought. Now, no matter what we manifested, we can change it.
That's right.
That's the important part. With one small positive thought. And then that thought rolls into another and goes on, right? I was reading an article in Psychology Today, and I love Psychology Today and a bunch of others. La and I are always throwing books and all kinds of things back at each other saying, oh, check this out. No, check that out. Well, look at this article. Because there's so much good stuff that's really out there, and we want to share it with you. And so obviously we want to share it with the world. So we're throwing it at each other first.
That's right.
Psychology Today in this article said, whether or not you believe in the power of the universe, right? There is specific research that proves the effect of positive thinking on our overall well-being and the chemistry that affects us even on a cellular level. And for me, that was really, really powerful because when we think of that law of attraction, it's in every aspect of our life, in that complete well-being and wellness and with our wealth, right? And so I found that to be really, really interesting. But in basic terms, all thoughts have power. If we focus on the doom and gloom, we will remain under a cloud. If we focus on the positive thoughts and have goals that we aim to achieve, we will find a way to achieve them with massive action. A positive attraction like a magnet. And, you know, when I was looking at this, the law of attraction in general, I was thinking about the money story. For example, that law went over in a previous episode. We're really talking about, what is that saying? What are we thinking, right? When we think of money, when we think of, you know, so many aspects in our life, our thoughts around money. Is it, I'm broke, right? Or money is hard to get? Or is it, I'm financially free? Money is no longer an issue.
Amen.
I have more than what I ever need. I am free to do what I want, and I'm generous with what I have, right? Which story? What energy? What attraction are you pulling towards you? What are you choosing? Because really, we have that opportunity to create it. Right? I mean, La was showing you just a minute ago, infectious energy, right? She is bringing it to the table this morning because she knows how amazing life is, how we have that opportunity to pull wonderful things into our lives by that flow of positive thinking, positive talk, positive action, and really celebrating life as we celebrate La's birthday this month. Anyway, so with that, life is a blank canvas of possibilities, and we are in control of what that finished picture looks like. And I'm excited about sharing that with you today.
That's right. That's right. Now, let me get this straight, Lala, because I want to make sure that we clarify this for our audience. So, are you saying that I can actually almost create my own destiny by utilizing positive thoughts? Did I understand that correctly?
Absolutely, because like attracts like, and it's a magnet that you pull to yourself. So when we send out, even Psychology Today, right? Whether you believe in higher power, the universe, any of those, right? Scientifically, we've shown that positive thoughts literally radiate on a cellular level, and that positive energy has a vibration that all can feel, and it comes right back to us. And so absolutely, I'm saying that 100%.
And I love how you mentioned vibration, because at the end of the day, it's energy that's all around us. And energy is everywhere. And regardless of what area of your life you're referring to, there's
every aspect.
energy. Every aspect.
Every aspect has energy.
That's why when you walk past someone, you can actually feel either connected or distant. You know, that's why, like you mentioned, the money story. When you have money in your hand, you feel some type of way, whether it's good or bad. You know, we talked about that in a couple of episodes ago, how just your thoughts around money creates some type of emotion. There's an emotional connection to it, and it really boils down to this mindset, which entails the law of attraction. So just going back to that money story, it's interesting because when I first started, like early in my career, I was this professional in the media business. And of course, when you get out of college, most students have debt because they might have college loans and all that stuff. And I did not realize how my money story affected how much money and how much debt I started to accumulate. So of course I had student loans, but then I became very credit card heavy. I was swiping and swiping and swiping and swiping. It could be $5 for coffee. I swiped it. And mind you, I had cash for it, but I had this buy now, pay later attitude around it. And I started to attract that type of ideology in my life. So for an example, it may sound a little bit over your head. So let me connect the dots for you. So later on, as I get out of the profession and I start working my own business, I started to attract clients that wanted to do the buy now, pay later. It was so interesting, and I never realized the correlation.
I love that, by the way.
I started,
it's crazy. It's so true. It is so
works.
True. Mm-hmm.
So for example, it wasn't until I started to be a little bit more self-aware of my spending habits and some of the things that I needed to improve on that I realized I actually attracted those clients. So for example, when I was doing dance fitness, I had a dance fitness company, and I didn't even offer a to-pay option. It was you pay in full, but you pay in full or you can pay per session. I never had a basically buy now, pay later option, meaning that you have like a deposit and you pay the remainder at a later time. Never did I do that until this one client presented it to me. And it was so interesting that I had it never crossed my mind. It wasn't even on my services, my pay plan. It wasn't like that. I never had a pay plan. But because of this was presented to me, I actually entertained the idea. And from that moment on, I literally got so many people that was interested in this buy now, pay later option that I never advertised. Crazy. And I noticed when I started to shift my thinking around, and I actually started to, when I was working on bettering my personal finance, and I was like, if I don't have it, I am not getting it. And I started to make sure I left the buy now, pay later type of lifestyle. I didn't get those questions. I did not have those opportunities presented to me as much. Interesting, right?
It is.
Mind-blowing.
Coincidence? I think not.
I think not. It's even like, you know how they said birds of a feather flock together. It's so true. Your energy, quote unquote, it has a vibration, like Lala talked about. You attract people that are similar to you. You tend to connect with people that have the same interests. It really is a vibration. And in fact, on a different type of level, since we're talking about using that law of attraction to really create your destiny, this is something that I did, and I utilize now, even when it comes to what my next steps are in life. I try to put out positive energy so I can attract it back. And I actually did this early in my career and didn't realize what I was doing per se, but it worked. And so when I first started in media, my first gig in broadcasting world was actually for, I'd rather not name the company, but it was the largest broadcasting company in the world. So you do the math, you can figure it out. So I started working for this company, and when I got there, I already felt comfortable. And here's why. Because I knew I was going to get the job. Here's why. Because I literally put out so much positive vibration that landed me in front of the decision makers. I did not know anyone that worked in the decision making process for that gig, but I put it out there. So this is what happened. Very brief story, because I want you to understand how you can utilize this in any area of your life. So I had applied for this position. I was living in Philadelphia at the time, just about to graduate from college. and I was going for a position in New York, which is the #1 market in the entire industry. So it's already hard to break into that market, let alone to come fresh out of college and land with the largest broadcasting company in the world. Okay. So what I did was I used positive talk, basically saying I was going to get the position, basically pep talk, giving myself pep talks when I did not, when week by week went past and I didn't hear anything. All right. I had submitted my resume and didn't hear anything. Well, long beknownst to me, I had a friend that interned at that particular company years prior. It just so happened, maybe it was a coincidence, maybe it was a law of attraction. I believe the latter. But it just so happened that my friend, who was once an intern, told me about an open house that was open to African American youth. Is like an open house, so you can see the studios and things like that. It was a one-day event. They do it once a year annually. He invited me to attend that open house. Guess who was at that open house? The decision maker of that position.
Wow,
and you know what awesome. I did? You know what I did? Because I already had and was putting it in motion. I had my resume. I had references. I had that with me at the open house, although I did not know he would be there. Mm-hmm. But he was, and I was ready because I already put it out there and attracted it to me. So once I introduced myself to him, it was already aligned because I literally attracted it to me. And that's really what it's all about. And I know for some of you, it may sound like hocus pocus. I know it's maybe something very, you get what I mean? It's not something that, because it's not tangible, is hard to grasp, but it's so true. I mean, just think of it in a very ordinary sense. If you happen to be married, you might have an idea of what you want in a helpmate, right? And then you more than likely will attract that, or a friendship. Same thing. You end up getting exactly what you thought about or what you wanted. Or you could get what you don't want if you focus too much on it, right, Lala?
I was just thinking the same thing as you were saying that. I was like, so those of you that are out there going, how the heck did I get here? Because there may be a few of you out there saying, in the same way, if we put too much energy in, I don't, we tend to attract that too. And because it does have that power on both ways. And absolutely, that's why I love the science too, just to bring it back for a moment with you and partner with you. That's why I love that science piece, when they've actually studied the chemistry of the brain, looked at the way that it works on our nervous system, and how all that feedback and that energy, positive and negative, really affects us on that physical level. Because it's like it's putting that, maybe that sort of magic feeling into, whoa, look at the science behind that. It's incredible. But yes.
It's incredible. And like she said, you can attract also something negative if you focus so much on it. And we talked a lot about that on your money story. We discussed your money story, just your ideology and the things that you even speak. If it's negative towards, you will attract.
Right? Yes, and yes.
Right? So
absolutely,
it really is powerful when you learn and understand how to use it. And one of my favorite, it started as a book, but it's also a movie. One of my favorite examples of this is in something called The Secret. One of my favorite all-time documentaries. They also have it in a book, and it will break it down a little bit more what The Secret is and how it is applicable to your life. But just to give you a brief synopsis, and I encourage everyone to watch or read The Secret. It's great. So I'm going to give you a brief synopsis. So in The Secret Film, her book of the same name, both released in 2006, was written and produced by Rhonda Byrne. So she presents different teachers, thought leaders that are in the movie in particular. I saw the movie first before reading the book, and they share their wisdom and the different things that they studied and how it's applicable to life. So she has people, world leaders in fields of business, economics, medicines, psychology, history, science, you name it. So basically what it does, it reveals amazing real life stories of regular people who have changed their lives in profound ways. By applying The Secret, they present instances of eradicating disease, for example, acquiring massive wealth, overcoming obstacles, and achieving what many would regard as impossible. And you have to literally watch or read, I would do both, and really listen to the stories because it is profound. But like Lala mentioned it, if you don't work it in the positive direction, it can also, because it's a principle, it works whether you use it to your best ability or not. If you do not use it, if you do it in a negative way where you focus on negative things and where you are and not where you really want to, what you want to become, then it also can have a negative effect as well. Right, Lala?
Absolutely. I was even thinking briefly when you said that about how, we started out with a statement of, there's been even eradication of disease in the body. Well, in the same way, when people are depressed and clinically depressed, they literally have symptoms like fibromyalgia and all kinds of other things, yet testings will show nothing. And so it's really important to understand that it is really powerful. It's really, really powerful. Well, I'd love to share an exercise. May I?
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's what we're all about, is getting better. Exercise our muscle.
Because as you were talking, I was thinking of something that might be a little different than what people have done in the past, but it's an exercise that I use with my clients in a much more in-depth way than what I'm going to talk about right now. But what a great tool it's been. As I was saying before, right, our life is a blank canvas. Right? The picture we want to create, we're creating in our own. And so a lot of people know about vision boards. I know I mentioned it on another episode, right? People write in journals as far as, those pieces, which of course, they're great. It goes without saying. However, this week's exercise, I'd like you to do it a little bit different, right? First, I'd like you to write down your vision of that canvas. Now, I don't want it to be too long, right? Examples that you might write down is, I am strong and right on track, right? I will make healthy eating choices. I feel great. I'm a force of love in this world. Money flows easily to me. All of these pieces, and they're all unique because they're all uniquely yours, whatever that is, right? But after you write them down, what I want you to do, and this is the part that's a little bit different than what you might have done before, is I want you to record your voice telling yourself, speaking these things to yourself. If you have a smartphone like an iPhone, there's voice memos, right? And in addition, in the background, I'd love it if you'd play some maybe classical music, right? You can YouTube a classical song and then speak into your phone or something like that. We've seen that classical music from studies also shows that it creates a wonderful learning environment and really opens that up. But when you speak these words, and even if you put something else, soft, that's beautiful, that's inspiring maybe behind you, as long as it doesn't have so many words that's conflicting to what you're saying. When you speak these words with energy, I want you to speak them like you're telling a loved one, right? I want you to say it as if this was your 5-year-old self, right? I want you to see it in your mind. If your 5-year-old self ran up to you right now And would you say, you can't do it, you're not going to make it? You'd say, you've got all the potential in the world. Life is open to you. Everything you want and abundance will come to you. So really want you to think about it in that way. And here's the last little piece. All right, you've recorded it. It should, again, be sort of short, maybe 3 to 4 minutes, right? So when you're doing like the example, if I say, I am strong and I'm right on track, right? I'm a force of love. You feel that. I want you to try and listen to that 3 times a day. And if we keep it short, again, that 3 minutes, right? Somewhere sort of short, you should be able to do it in the morning, maybe when you're driving to the car to work, running an errand, before bed. This exercise has such a powerful effect in how you feel, because you are the magnet and you do have the paintbrush to paint the canvas of your life. And I hope that you enjoy this exercise and you get many blessings from it. I know that I do, and I often rewrite mine. I have my clients go through a whole series for weeks on end, and we continue to create it, to build it, to see it, to feel it.
Love that. You have the paintbrush and you can paint your own camp. Oh, I love that. It's phenomenal. And too bad that that's all the time we have for today. So make sure that you definitely do that exercise. We just explained it works, and you'll see it as you do this exercise. You'll start to see it once you start implementing some of these things over time. But again, we're looking forward to seeing you next Monday, meeting you next Monday, same time, same place. But before we go, be sure to register to become a guest on the show. We would love to hang out with you. Go to wealthandwellnessnetwork.com. See you next week at 8 a.m.
Bye, everybody.